Unless you can trade if you want to push. Well, we'll have more time. Sunday there was snow on the ground.
So, good afternoon, and welcome to this gathering, to this holy time and holy place. My name is Beverly Brazier, and I'm privileged to be in ministry with the people of Whitehorse United Church. And I'm even more privileged to be here today. This is an intimate time for you, and I thank you. And I thank Nicole more than I can say for trusting me with leadership in this way. It is most certainly not my pleasure, but it is my honor. And I come here first of all in profound gratitude for the gift of life and of this day, for every breath, for the mystery of things, that life and love endure in ways that are beyond our understanding. In gratitude for this land, the traditional land of the Kwanlundun First Nation. So gratitude for all of that, but most of all right now, for the life of this woman, this child of God, this precious gift to the world, Nicole Edwards, whose name we speak with gratitude and with love. This is a thin time and a thin place, even more so today because of the purposes to which we have put it. A time like this is when humans are most present to ourselves, to who we know ourselves to be. I mean really, deeply, truly, who we in our souls are, and present to the energy that infuses and empowers all life and that is indestructible. This is a perfect time and a perfect place to help us know and give voice to the deep sense that life is more than we know, more enduring and eternal than we can express. So let's let this place speak for us. Right now, let's keep just a bit of silence. Let the birds, if there are any, the wind, the earth, sing their songs of life. Let's just keep a bit of silence. Amen. We're going to have a prayer in words now. And Gaye, would you lead us, please?
Thank you to Lee and to all those that organized the event, and to Nicole for trusting me with saying a few words to welcome us here today, and words of gratitude, words of praise, words of thanksgiving. Great Spirit, creator of all things, we thank you for the many gifts that we have in our life. We thank you for this beautiful land, this season of harvest, and all of the abundance that it represents. We thank you for the life of Nicole and all she brought to many people here and all those throughout the land. She was courageous and creative and joyful and passionate, and we will forever remember that spirit and hold ourselves up to hopefully live in that legacy and keep to what she invited us to become, which is everything we could possibly become. And we honor the loss and we honor the gift of her life today. We pray to the four directions, Mother Earth, Father Sky, and the direction within. We ask for guidance, we ask for strength, we ask for courage as we go on with our lives, and we try and do it in a way that would uplift her memory of the tribute that she made to the living and to life, and the way in which she grasped it, regardless of the challenges that she faced. And she was an inspiration to us all. And we ask, Creator, that you give us what we need in these times, that we also give that spirit that was so alive, safe and comforted and protected transition to the singing and the dancing and the joyful way in which she will carry on in spirit. And we have a sense of that, and we'll hold fast to that as we remember her with gratitude and with prayers. And we thank each and every one here and those beyond that will be with us in spirit and with us as they connect to this day through all kinds of means technology. And we pray for all of them and everyone connect to them as the love and the gratitude for Nicole's life ripples out and embraces us all. Thank you, Creator.
The sacred scriptures, some of the sacred scriptures say that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has never put it out. So I'm going to invite Mark to come up and show us the truth of that. Breathe in peace.
Hello, can you hear me? We're going to start with some music, as Nicole would of course want. And the song Breathe in Peace is a song that Nicole created for herself to help her feel grounded and calm and safe. She sang it to me for the first time when she was in Copper Ridge Place. And like so many of the songs we worked on, it got stuck in my brain and became a famous Nicole earworm. But I really loved it, and I encouraged her to record it, and we did make a recording of it, and it's now one of the tools in her mindfulness kit. And I can tell you it has helped me through many a takeoff and landing and time of turbulence in my life, just singing it over and over again. So I invite you to sing along, and whether you know it or not, it's really easy to catch on to. And we have the Nicole Edwards Haaaaaapiness Choir, who's going to come up and help lead some singing. Come on up now, you guys. And Mark's going to come and play a drum. And I know that nothing would make Nicole happier than to know that a whole bunch of people were singing her music, and that maybe it'll get stuck in your heads and it'll help you out in your times of turbulence. So breathe in peace.
We'll have two readings now, one right after the other, from Micheal Gibran's The Prophet. So those of you who are doing those readings, if you would just come forward now.
These poems that Lee chose for today are beautiful poems. The first one is romantic and realistic, and it makes me think about how we have to embrace being totally vulnerable to someone to get to that wonderful high of being in love. And Lee and Nicole have to breathe. Okay. On love. When love beckons you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowned you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tender branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God, and think not you can direct the course of love. For love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let those be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness, to be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude. And to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips.
Then Almitra spoke, saying, we would ask now of death. And he said, you would know the secret of death. But how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depths of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to breathe the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. For when you've reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance.
Sorry, I'm not used to being COVID safe. One second. I think Nicole would intend this to be a sing-along, so when I start the chorus in bold, please sing along. given a command to guard you in all of your ways. Upon their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the wreath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand.
I know Nicole would have been happy to see all of the home knit and crocheted and felted wool that's out on everybody right now. And to help me through this, I'm just picturing her sitting in the front here and giving me that brilliant, brilliant smile that says, "You got this." That says, "You can do this." And I feel that that's what she would be telling me with that smile if she were sitting in that front row. Nicole lived a life of open-hearted positivity. She saw beauty and humanity in every person that she met, regardless of their age, their ability, their background. She just had this astonishing openness and curiosity, this honest interest. And I remember the first time that was focused on me, and I was kind of looking around in the room thinking, surely this person is talking to somebody else. And yet to realize that no, this was being focused on me in that moment. It taught me a lot, and it's a lesson I'm still trying to live up to today. Nicole shone brightly, especially around children, especially around music, around nature, in her garden. She truly was a dedicated joy seeker. I only met Nicole about 10 years ago when I moved to Mount Lorne, but I've learned to love her fiercely in that time, to look up to her as a mentor. She often told me how she was raised by this strong community of women in South River, with her mother Margaret at the core, with her Aunt Dot as a powerful satellite. She always strove to be the aunt that her Aunt Dot was to her, to all of the children in her life, all of the children in her community. These last few years, Nicole and I spent many hours on the phone, and she loved telling stories. Stories of how she was already an organizer of art and community when she was in high school. Stories of traveling to Israel and working on a kibbutz, of touring in Turkey. And it always came back to the people, the amazing people that she met, and the stories that she told, how each one would center on this amazing person or that amazing person. And I started to realize that the thread through it all was Nicole, that she brought out this light in other people, and that was one of her true gifts. In this great honor that she gave me of writing, of telling some of her story, I learned parts of her story that I wasn't that aware of, and other people will speak more to later today, about how when she moved to the Yukon in 1997, she turned her passions around organizing and around art to the youth of the territory and founding BITE, how she inspired a generation of youth to be the change they wanted to see in the world, how she was part of founding Yukon Women in Music. This was one of the places that I was privileged enough to meet her, where she became one of my mentors. Well, before then, as most of you will know, she was diagnosed with scleroderma, beginning a very difficult part of her journey. 3 years after that diagnosis and her first album, her health stabilized somewhat, but required a new path, required a more flexible path, a way for her to continue to serve her community, but in a way that was adapting to her health. Service to her community remained her prime vocation. She always remained true to her voice. Her songs like Apathy is Boring, Love, Serve, and Uplift, the songs that we've probably all been playing nonstop for the past couple weeks. In 2017, Nicole played her last public concert. I remember speaking to her about it a lot. She was so excited for the performance. She was so excited for the purpose for Yukon Cares, to be able to support refugees. I wasn't able to be there in person, but I was so grateful to be able to be her witness on the phone as she was planning that, and to be her witness after that as life became increasingly difficult. Still, she continued to serve, advocating for trauma-informed, patient-centered care, from her own trauma, finding strength, finding creativity, finding inspiration, and choosing to turn that into tools for other people to support mental wellness, to continue to be an advocate. Ironically, these were the years where I got to know Nicole best, as we talked on the phone once or twice a week, sometimes more often. I feel so privileged to have been her witness during this time. She was also my witness. I never had a fear of judgment whenever I shared anything with her. She taught me this true, unconditional love and support. That was what she modeled. She made me want to be that kind of friend to the people in my life that I love. On my drive down from Dawson on Friday, I had a very beautiful experience of two wolves walking onto the highway in front of me with plenty of distance, and I slowed down to watch them, and they seemed to kind of give each other a nod as they passed. And when they saw my car coming, they slowed to a stop, and one of them turned and walked, not running, but walked purposely into the bush and didn't give me a backwards glance. And to me, that wolf made me think of our dear friend Agnes, just walking off into the bush and telling me to mind my own business and get on with the stuff of living. The other wolf walked off to the other side and stood up, turning towards me on this little ridge, just posing in this perfect form of beauty and strength and challenge, just unafraid and strong. And to me, that was Nicole. And that's the Nicole that I know. Just so unafraid, unashamed, of being herself, and of using that voice not to serve herself, but to hold space, to speak for those who couldn't speak for themselves, and to hold the space and wait until they were ready to speak or to sing for themselves. One of the last times that I spoke to Nicole, I sang her this song, because I know she wouldn't like me to be up here without singing. And I would really love it if any of you that know the words could join in. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down. Come on down. Do you want to go down? Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down. Come on down. Do you want to go down? Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down. Come on down. Do you want to go down? Oh, fathers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down. Come on down. Do you want to go down? Oh, mothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray.
So just so she doesn't have to wipe that down again, whoever's coming up next.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to start with some words from a song written by Nicole Edwards called Neighbor. Neighbor, I've got a modest confession. I'm relatively self-sufficient, but I still have some lessons to learn. I sleep better at night knowing your door is always open. When we're together, we can be ourselves. There's no need to put emotions on the shelf. Sometimes laughter, sometimes tears. I'll keep these moments with me for years. Nicole was my neighbor and my best friend, my Yukon family. As I came here from Ontario probably 30 years ago now. I just want to share a picture for you of a time when I lived in Robinson as her neighbor. And during those days when I was a homeschooling mom, I'm still a mom, not homeschooling. Robinson is a rural area of Yukon, mostly brush and forest, situated at the base of beautiful Mount Lorne. It's sparsely inhabited and spread out over acres. I would walk over to Nicole's place, about 3 kilometers, up and down along Robinson's gravel road, with little Maggie riding her pony Peaches. When we got to Nicole's house, her little blue house, we'd tie Peaches to a tree, and Peaches would graze on grass, and Maggie would hop off and run over to Nicole, who would be teaching her French and music lessons. Just a precious picture. Nicole offered her exuberant appreciation and the gift of loving and nurturing my kids and myself every step of the way. How lucky they were, and how lucky was I. Our friendship was about sharing heart to heart, having a lot of fun, and girl talk, and that's girl with a lot of R's. Silliness, sadness, and a lot of laughing, pure joy. Nicole sent me this letter she received from my daughter Heidi, who now lives in Anchorage with her husband Sean and her 2 children, Moses and Amalia. And Heidi has given me permission to share this with you today. Just a minute, I need a Kleenex. Okay. Dearest Nicole, you are and will always be such a blessing in my heart. Thank you for inspiring me every day. In grade 3, I proudly played your song Neighbor for my class at Show and Tell. It was that year I thought I'd like to be a music teacher. And here I am, getting to be a music teacher and sharing your music with my amazing little students. Thank you for being there for me and making me feel like I'm the most important person in the world every time we talked. I aspire to make my students, friends, and family feel the same way you make me feel, valued. Most importantly, thank you for loving me in a way that is limitless and unconditional. Through my shy childhood times and my angsty teenage years and into adulthood, your bravery, sensitivity, and creativity are all things I look up to. And your love for my family and I is the greatest gift. I'm taking the day off work on Wednesday to have time to send you a special prayer. You are loved for exactly who you are, and you are always in my heart. I'm so proud of you. Love, Heidi. And Nicole left me these words. I love you always. Call on me when I am an angel, free from body and ego, pure light, and I will be honored to be there with you.
And Liam.
Hi, I'm Liam. My wife Tracy and I drove up from Haines yesterday, and we're very grateful to be with all of you today. I've always admired the way that Mount Lorne does community, and I'm honored to be speaking with you today about our friend Nicole. Nicole is such a community person that it's inevitable that her love of community would spill over into the neighboring communities. And when Lee and Nicole got together, Haynes didn't lose a son, we gained a daughter. I first moved to Haynes in 2002 in May, and then in June we had the bike race, and that was the first time I got to experience the way Yukoners and Alaskans got together, and the energy and the humor and the life and the fun that came with that. And that night was the first time I laid eyes on Nicole. She was performing on the main stage of the Southeast Alaska State Fair. And that night, she was in full-on rock and roll mode. She was plugged in, and we danced hard. And it's interesting because I saw her many other times on that same stage, and it was always something different. It was always a different lineup, sometimes featuring puppets. And she sang in different languages and different genres. She would sing songs that were funny, that were sad, that were angry, that were songs of praise, that were calls to action, and often featured innuendo about food. I first got to meet Nicole a year or two after that. In Haynes, we have something called the Goddess Party, which no men are invited to. The women dress as certain goddesses, and that's about all I know about it because I wasn't allowed there. But Guy Hoffman decided that the men needed something to do that night, so he started the sausage party where we gathered at the Klondike Saloon for bratwurst and beer and music, and that's when I first met Lee, sitting there at the bar, and I was talking to him when in through the back door burst Nicole. She was the first one to cross the gender barrier of that night because she just really needed to see her man. And I saw the way the two of them looked at each other with their eyes ablaze and how happy they were to be together. But theirs wasn't the kind of love that, kind of isolated itself from other people. It kind of spilled over onto the people all around them. Somehow, in very short time, Nicole wound up being the big sister I never had, but always so desperately needed. She would give me lots of encouragement and lots of big sisterly advice. I played her a song once, and she's like, that's good, but what a song needs is like a change, like a bridge in the middle to really make it interesting. And she's like this song I'm working on, where like in the middle I break into, do you want to get radical? Wrap your head around this. And it's the three radical acceptance. And I played her another song, and she's like, oh yeah, good, that had like that bridge in it. And she was always very interested in affairs of the heart. And when I was a single guy, she gave me a pep talk about how to woo a partner, and she used Lee as a shining example of how to do this. And it basically boiled down to be charming and friendly, but take your time and don't put on the full court press. She told me about being around him, and she was like, yeah, he was paying attention to me, but he was paying attention to other people too, and he was buying me beer, but I could see him buying other people beer too. And then she said, he was like, oh hey, this is my friend Jeannie. I want you to meet Jeannie. Jeannie here is the best school teacher, and Nicole wasn't afraid to give a bit of a big sisterly lecture when she needed to as well, which was appreciated. And every time after spending time with Nicole, I always felt like I was a better person, or she thought I was a better person than I really was. And so I guess that would just kind of make me strive to be a better person. I remember one day I happened to be in Whitehorse, and I called her up. That's back when we used payphones and landlines, and I called her, and she's like, "Oh, you've got to get over to the Mount Lorne Community Center. We're about to have this big opening of this new timber frame." And so I hitchhiked out here and got here in time to see the show. And she was so proud of this structure that her friends and neighbors built. And she was so excited to play, but she was especially excited that her songwriting student, Fabian, Helen's son, would be performing that day. And afterwards, she talked me through the different songwriting prompts that led him to write his songs like Whitehorse, Wiry Kid from Out of Town, and The Flu. And she's like, yeah, he actually had the flu. He really did go home and puke. That part of the song was real. Also, I remember coming up for Leah and Nicole's wedding day, which was a beautiful day here. The ceremony was in her yard, and I remember her telling me that around the time when she was having one of her first real difficult bouts with her sickness, Lee proposed to her, and she spent her time regaining her strength by planning that day. And the day it featured these beautiful archways that they built, and then the flower girls came around to us, the young girls who are now grown-ups, but her neighbors had baskets of fireweed, and they came and passed them out to us, and we each took these branches of fireweed and stuck them in the archway till these archways were full of fireweed in bloom. And at the end of the ceremony, she sang Bob Marley's One Love, One Heart to us, although she changed the words a little bit, so it wasn't about Armageddon. It was about her wedding. And then we came here for a great party, and we got to see her dancing in her wedding gown, and it was so beautiful. And of course she sang to us. And I remember her mother speaking that day and saying that the thing about Nicole was she made everyone she spoke to feel like they were the most important person in the world, because they were. A couple more memories. Nicole would come every year to our fair to perform in Haines, and as time went on, it became more difficult, and she had to really pace herself so she could just have her energies to perform that set at the fair that meant so much to her. But despite that, she was always just so gracious to her audience and her friends and fans who were there. And she always had some beautiful get up that she was wearing. And sometimes these nice long gloves and beautiful gowns and scarves and so on. And she was just so appreciative of the musicians who played with her. And she always just poured her heart out there on stage when she was able to perform, and just handled herself with this grace and this courage, where you never saw anything but the pure joy of performing and being there for her audience and her bandmates. One time she offered a music as healing class, and it was in this yurt in Haines, and I of course had to go to it. And I was the only male. She referred to me as the token boy, and what she did is she went around and we would do things like we would sing a song where to everyone in the room we would say, you are beautiful, you are kind, wonderful to be with, hear our loving song. And then another thing was we would, she taught us that that instead of worrying about something, you should pray for something. And so we would all go around and say what our prayer was, and she would say, trade your worries for prayer, hallelujah, amen. And then we'd say, we'd pray for what we were hoping for to overcome our worries. This June, Tracy and I celebrated our first anniversary, and Nicole sent me a song, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. But I was thinking it was kind of like the way that, she'd send, when it was my birthday, she'd send me like her and Alvaro singing happy birthday, or at Christmas, it'd be her and Foxworthy singing Jingle Bells. But no, and I realized, oh no, she actually wrote us a song. What happened was one day I was at work, and I was driving the work truck, and the local DJ was playing Sage and Wild Roses. And she and I sent some messages back and forth, and she told me the story about going to a music fest in the northern Yukon, and they stopped with her band to take a break, and it was in a field of sage and wild roses. So she wrote this song, and then I was like, wow, that's a great story. Like here, it's white clover and fireweed. So she wrote a song about white clover and fireweed, and it took us through all the different emotions and experiences of being in a relationship. And then she ended by referring to the poet Mary Oliver by saying this wild life together. And I thought this is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for us, is to write a song like this. And I've thought about it a lot, how I could possibly repay the kindness and generosity that Nicole showed. But then I realized it was in the giving of that was its own reward for her. We were just amazed in these last few months the way she really continued doing her life's work as a musician, as an advocate, and she even prepared us for this. I think some of the last things I got from her were her reminding us to breathe. Her song and it was her last breath. She was reminding us to breathe, and then she even sent us this song for grieving, so that we'd be ready for this time when it was time to grieve. And we'll always have these memories, and we'll always have these songs, and we'll always have this love that never dies.
So we're going to see a slideshow now. All right, is there anything we need to do to get ready for that? Turn to the screen, yes.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to get things started.
Well, ain't the old opening better?
It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, motivational. This is what we call the Muppet Show.
There's a somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that he turns out to be someone who watch over me. I'm a little lamb was lost in the wood. I know I could always be good to one who will watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone who watch over me. Although he may not be the man some girls think of as handsome, oh, but to my heart he carries the key. Won't you tell him please to put on some speed, follow my lead. Oh, how I need someone to watch over me.
Hi, everybody. It's a privilege to be here. I remember Nicole all throughout my life. She's always been such a supportive person, you know. She was always there with some sage advice to get me through. And she reached out to me. I was doing a live stream about a year ago, and I was covering songs by local artists, and she reached out to me and asked if I would do this song that Ryan Corrigan, later known as Hawksley Workman, wrote about her. Apparently they had a thing back in the day. She said she was about my age when they were together, so she thought I could relate. Anyways, yeah, I hope this brings a little bit of happiness, as she would like. It's called Earth Mama. ozone into my sky, keeping that relentless sun out of my eyes. Your heartbeat sound, you give me space to dance upon your ground. Earth, mama, you let me play my roots. I feed me with your fruit. Earth, mama, you give my soul a place to be. Like a forest to the trees. My earth, mama, let my soul be free. Face is the glowing atmosphere. The sun is your smile. The rain is your tears. Your feet are rooted in the soil like trees. The moon makes you tremble like the tide turning seas. Earth, mama, you make me plant my roots. Oh, you feed me with your fruit. Earth, mama, you give my soul a place to be. Like a forest to the trees. My earth, mama, let my soul be free. Your dancing feet are sold in the weather. You dance me crazy when we're together. You're breathing way too deep to understand. Oh, you've got this crazy connection with the land. Oh. Earth, mama, you let me play my blues. You feed me with your fruits, earth, mama. Earth, mama, you give my soul a place to be. Like forest to the trees. Oh, my earth, mama, let my soul be free. Let my soul be free. Let my soul be free. Let my soul be free.
So there's going to be a lineup of people sharing memories now, and the first one is Chris, and I think we'll just go in order. I might interrupt in the middle, I'm not sure. It'll be a surprise.
I can't stand and tell a story, so I'm gonna walk around a bit. I'm from Texas and I am cold. Y'all are crazy up here. Y'all are right though. I feel like I'm at a comedy show right now. You know, I'm sorry, what was the musician's name that was just singing? You know, even if no one else was dancing, Nicole would have been right here. She would have been just... It's hard not to cry. When talking about Nicole, and especially the memories. Fuck, this is so hard. Somebody comfort me. Man, God, she had it. She fucking had it, man. So I taught dancing. I taught ballroom dancing for a few years, and every time she saw me, I could not get a minute free from her. She wanted to dance, and she just kept tangoing. She wanted to tango and tango. Show me that step again. I'm like, we did that 5,000 times. And so tango is cool because it's real serious. You're like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm explaining the dance to Nicole, and she said, you know, she goes, oh no, serious. Didn't work. She was like, I'm like, fine, do your own tango, Nicole. Gosh, I have so many memories. Texas is about 3,200 miles away. Me and my pup, we drove up here, and it's always a treat to get to come up here, because, I mean, you Canadians, y'all are okay. Maybe a little bit better than just okay. It's a real treat. And I've gotten to stay up here a few times, visit Lee and Nicole, and it's just a blast. I mean, we just have such a blast. And I'm trying to pick out like a memory. It's tough, but back in 2018, I was training for Alaska's Strongest Man. I flew to Fairbanks, and then I was going to stay with Lee and Nicole for a week. And they knew all about, I was training hard. I wanted to win Alaska's Strongest title. That just had a nice ring to it. I wanted to be Alaska's Strongest. And so I flew up, I competed. I didn't do too well that day. I actually lost. I was super bummed out. I was like, I flew all this way to lose. So I had this weight on my shoulders, and you know, I didn't want to like tell friends and family I lost. But Nicole was messaging me and asking how it all went. And I said, you know, and Nicole, you know, I lost. You know, I'm pretty bummed out about it. And I'll never forget what she said. She says, "Fuck winning, man." And I was like, yeah, F winning. And that's what she just knew what to say and how to make you feel when you need it the most. And what was that? I wish she was here. I could dance with her. And okay, real quick, last one. When I was 19, I got to stay with Lee and Nicole for a couple of weeks, which again was awesome. And one day, Lee, yes, Keita, thank you, I need you. I was staying with Lee and Nicole, and then I was going to school at University of Alaska at Anchorage, and so I got to stay with them before the semester started. Lee came home from the dump with some caribou antler, and so I thought, man, that would be cool to make a necklace out of. So I made a necklace, one for Aunt Nicole and one for me. And I went off to school, and I lost my necklace, but she kept hers. And she knew I had lost mine because it was just a thing between us. Like, it was kind of like the turtle doves. She had her caribou necklace, I had mine. She had known I had lost mine a couple of months ago. I get a package in the mail of the caribou necklace I made for her 14 years ago. She had kept it the whole time, and she re-gifted it to me. And she even added some beads to it. Her own little flair. She was good at the flair, wasn't she? Anyways, she was just, man, like she remembered to send it to me with this beautiful letter and with the necklace. I'm like, how do you, no one does that. And that was special. And then I think, well, how many other people did she do that for? And, stuff like that. And she was the only one to call me on my birthday and sing happy birthday in French to me. And I answered it and I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but it's beautiful. I would answer, hello, and she just started singing happy birthday in French. I mean, who does these things? I mean, that's why we're all here. Like, we all know how truly special she was. And I did it. I told my stories. Pretty good.
Hi. So I was asked to talk a little bit about Bite, and Andrea said, hey, we're looking for someone to talk about Bite. Were you a Bite kid? And I said, oh, absolutely. And I think it's fitting that we're now putting condoms on the microphone every time, because being a Bite kid and going to one of the many youth conferences, we definitely learned about condoms. And Nicole was definitely always there to tell us to not be afraid to learn new things safely. But anyway, I met Nicole. I actually was 14 years old, and I was going to the music, art, and drama program at the Wood Street School. And on one of my breaks, I went down the stairs, and there was a tiny door that I thought went into a closet. But actually, I went in there, and it turns out there was 4 people at tiny little desks. It was probably the size of this table, and they said, this is the Bite office. And for those of you that don't know, Bite was bringing youth towards equality, this wonderful organization that Nicole founded, and what that became and what that was for us, it was this amazing place for youth culture and for us all to feel valued and to be creative and to discover who we were truly in our hearts outside of what mainstream culture was telling us we should be. And I know it changed many, many lives just having that space to be in. It changed my life. And when I walked into that office, I think Nicole said something like, hey, you're a youth, what's up? And she threw me a globe, and I caught it, and I was like, this is a pretty cool globe. And she's like, it's your globe. Youth are gonna take over the world. And then she said, and are you coming to the youth conference? And I said, what's a youth conference? So I did, and the slogan of that conference, I think this was 2001, or it might have been 2002, and it was, Youth Plan to Take Over the World. And it was an amazing space, and I know, Nicole, we're doing it. We're taking over the world, and now many of the youth, we have our own youth, we have our own kids, and we're still taking it over. And I know that's the world she wanted. She wanted our ideas to be heard and for us to make good impact. So thanks to Nicole for all that she did, and she definitely took over our hearts, and she's still in there. Thanks.
Well, I'm so honored to speak on behalf of YWAM, and I remember meeting Nicole many years ago. We were hot chicks in hot bands, and I got to know her fairly well through music, but we really bonded one time. She had just gotten diagnosed with scleroderma, and I was doing chemo, and we drove to Haines Junction for the festival, and we did it on our own, which was amazing back then, and it's one of my fondest memories of her. She was a priceless, beautiful soul that I will love and remember always. Nicole was one of the founding members of YWAM, and she put her heart and soul into it. She was one of the performers at our very first concert. She was on all the CDs. She was our vice president sometimes, treasurer on the board for many years. Her input was so valuable, and her energy was great to have around. Some of the things she supported were, of course, Bite and anything French, and of course it was always combined with music. Yukon Women in Music had a great partnership with the Women's Directorate since the group started. When they suggested that we do some kind of educational thing, the mentorship program was born, and Nicole was the driving force behind it. She managed it as long as she could, and was a tireless supporter of it. She did the grant applications, signed people up for them, and made it what it still is today, a way for women to get knowledge of their instrument or the business of music or whatever they want to know about music. She spoke French fluently, writing songs in it and celebrating the culture. She created and ran for a lot of years our fall concerts with the Association Franco-Yukonais. These were great as it helped us open us up to other musicians who spoke French, and they became part of our group as well. Of course, the concerts have taken a hiatus due to COVID, but we hope that they come back and are still part of her legacy. Some of the women from YWAM did the Yukon Women Escape Tour through Ontario, and Nicole was part of that. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but we packed up, got grants, and off we went to Ontario. And one of this most amazing concerts was at her hometown of South Bend. We met her mom.
South River.
Oh, God. Sorry, South River. I only had so much information to go on. We met her mom and her friends, and she's still here. And we got to play at their local thing, and they were some of my best times with Nicole, and I think all of us on that tour. We got to play at the Harbourfront in Toronto, Rasputin's in Ottawa, the Free Times Cafe in Toronto, a lot of house concerts and other places. The women on this tour, besides Nicole and myself, were Susie Ross, and Louise Genet, and Kendall Sullivan. It was truly a celebration of Yukon music, and we were also happy not to be in the Yukon because it was cold. Nicole is also our project director on the last YWAM CD, Tenderhooks and Velcro. It was a big project with big money and lots of people involved with it. She did a great job, and she did over and above, as she always does, what she actually had to do and was paid for. It's a great CD and would not exist without her. Nicole has left a legacy with YWAM, and I think it will last for years. And the group was stronger with her ideas and energy, and I believe it fed her soul as well. Whether as a member of the CD release gala, the board member, a project director, a performer, or whatever she did, I cannot stress how much she contributed to it and how much she was loved and is still treasured for it. We will always remember her and celebrate her life, and we'll miss her.
Hi everyone, I'm Derek, but I'm speaking on behalf of Grant Simpson, who posted a beautiful tribute earlier, and I'm just going to read some excerpts. So here's the tribute. It wasn't long after I moved to the Yukon that I got to know Nicole Edwards. We ended up performing at the same events and festivals, and over the years we became backstage friends. When Mark Smith, who was and is the best music champion of the Yukon will ever have, although it's pretty close tie with Nancy Irvine, opened the Music Yukon Resource Center and asked me to help, was when I got Nicole on a much deeper level. She was always enthusiastic and serious with her music career. She wanted to represent herself in a certain way, and she wanted to find ways to share her music to a wider audience. I remember I first asked her why she wanted to do all that time-consuming work on websites and social media, and she said, because this is all I can do to promote my music. I can't do much else. That changed my paradigm immediately, and I tried to find out what we could do to help her create an online presence that didn't involve touring. She was wonderfully inventive, connecting songs and food, songs and pain, songs and disease, and most of all, songs of joy. Nicole Edwards was pure joy, and that light never faded, no matter what the disease did to her body. You truly couldn't help but love her completely. When I wrote a song she liked, she immediately phoned me and said, I want that song. I need a chart in my key. I was always thrilled to hear her versions of my songs and see how creative she was with them. When Nicole was feeling healthy and her energy was up, she would book local gigs and hire friends to play with her. Sometimes it would be just a duo with her and one of us, or sometimes we would be in a band behind her. She had a special connection with all of us, and we all cherished our time with Nicole. The Yukon community as a whole is truly one of the most powerful and loving communities I have ever known, and the Yukon community loved and cherished Nicole. My thoughts and love are with Lee Close, Nicole's husband, who made up the team in Nicole's life. That was one of the most beautiful partnerships I have ever witnessed.
And now Jack. So just, okay, now I'm on. So Nicole's neighbor Jack, are you prepared to speak? No. All right then. Well, I'm going to read something that I was given I first want to tell you that my predecessor at Whitehorse United Church was Kelty Van Binsbergen, and she wrote a sermon about Nicole the Sunday after she died. And if you want to read that sermon, I would be very happy to share that with you, but I just wanted you to know that. I've got this from Annie Avery, who says, I'm just going to read the bullet points of this. Principles I learned from Nicole Edwards, currently out of town. Having known Nicole first as a performer and having played with her for many years, I'd like to mention 5 of the many things I learned from Nicole when we were playing music together. 1, always perform your best. 2, have a good set list. 3, always treat your band well. 4, never miss an opportunity to engage with young people. And 5, always see humor. And she's elaborated on those, but I'm not going to. If you'd like to see that, I'd be willing to share that with you as well. So, Mary Jane, are you here?
I was one of Nicole's early caregivers, and the reason I came on the scene was because Lee was undergoing knee surgery and needed a little extra help at home. Nicole was really having difficulties accepting loss at the time, There were a lot of tears, and sometimes she was angry. She was always beautiful, but the best thing about being there was seeing how all the community came together for her and how much they loved her. When I was there, she stayed for a while at Brian and Marguerite's for a couple of weeks. She stayed with Karen McKenna for a couple of weeks. Suzanne came up to compile an exhaustive medical record for the caregivers. She had Trish come up to give her massages. She had another neighbor come up for breath sessions. Al and Lois drove her to doctor appointments. Sometimes she would stay too late at the doctor's office, and the doctor would be late to pick up her own kids from their school. Kim made sweet potato pie. Bev prayed for her and came out. Ruth Lyra was always at her beck and call and did lots of meditation with her. One night she said, I used every tool in my toolbox and then I had to invent some more. It was, and all of them loved to come out and help Nicole. There were others that donated money and visited and sang songs, drew pictures, put on dances. She also stayed at Copper Ridge after I'd left, and I think Andrea was there lots helping with songs. Other people were helping record songs, and I never realized what a wonderful community we had until I worked with Nicole. It was a real pleasure. And it was a pleasure seeing Lee with her. It was incredible. It was great. Thanks a lot, Nicole.
Be hard for me to talk to without crying. Here I go. I'm Lauren, and I was Nicole's main home support worker for the last year. It was bittersweet, obviously, because it was her last year, possibly her hardest. But as one of her songs is, "Can you see the beauty?" I look at the beautiful times that she and I shared together. When I first got the job, I didn't know how well we would get along. I thought we would, I knew we would connect on music because I love music and I love singing, and so that was our thing in the beginning, but it blossomed into much more than that, and someone has once said that I was a sponge for information because I loved learning so much, and Nicole, as you know, loved to teach. So she taught me a lot about gardening, and even though she didn't have a lot of energy, she still take the time to go out to the garden with me and show me how I really don't know very much about gardening, so she really taught me a lot, and she knew a lot. And we really both love nature and flowers and plants, and we would eat pansies together and nasturtiums and let the flavor explode in our mouths, and we would coriander seeds. She's just like, here, taste this, and just let it pop in your mouth. And we would just both be in awe at nature's beauty. She also had an alter ego, Nick. She liked to dress up as this man named Nick, And we also have this in common because I also like dressing up as a man, whom you may know as Freddie Mercury. It's one of my closet guilty pleasures. So she knew this about me, but not many people did. But she requested that I do one of my closet Freddie Mercury performances for her one day, and I had planned on doing it at some point, but kept putting it off because I tucked that away in the closet. And here I am telling all of you about it. But when I found out that Nicole was going to be passing, I had to get my shit together and get this performance ready, and she was making humor out of it as well. She said, well, you've got a deadline now. You've got to get it organized, and so I did, and I dressed up as Freddie, and we had a little concert outside. I also have never worked with puppets before, but I know that it's one of her favorite things. So I put together a little skit with a sock puppet that I made, and sang a little duet of Bohemian Rhapsody and Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing, two of her favorite songs. And it was a really beautiful time. She appreciated it so much, as most of you know how much she loves puppets and performing. So I was really happy that I was able to do that for her just 2 days before she left us. And now I think I might even pursue singing with puppets. It was so much fun, which she would really appreciate and encourage, like she always did for me. Encouraged me to do so much, and it was so inspirational, and I was so thankful that I got to spend this last year working for such an amazing woman that I loved. And now I'm envisioning her dancing with her dad, who she talked about so much, and her Aunt Dot up there too.
Jocelyn. I know many of you because you've brought Nicole to my office over the last 4 years. My relationship with Nicole has changed so much in 4 years of weekly visits, far beyond what you would typically think of as a doctor-patient relationship. Just gonna breathe. As we were kindred spirits in so many ways, and I was so lucky to be a medical professional and a human who she trusted and felt safe with, which is something she struggled with a lot. Walking with Nicole through her struggles, through her monumental efforts at recovery, and her incredible will to produce her legacy projects, notably Yukon Lullaby for Mental Health, had a profound impact on me personally and professionally. Nicole was truly a force of nature, as everyone in this room knows. Even as her physical body failed her, she continued to have her capacity to love so deeply and to produce such important and beautiful work for all of us. By the time I met Nicole, even coming to town to visit with me on a weekly basis was an effort, because even just sitting up for her was incredibly taxing. It was not unusual to find her at her arrival at my office, laying on the floor, trying to recover. Even when she was in my office, finally comfortable, she would often be too exhausted to try to communicate to me what she was experiencing and what she was struggling with, and to get to the many things that were on her list that she wanted to discuss that week. And just as she would seem the most stuck, Somehow, out of seemingly a whole different body, Nicole would belt out a soulful, deep lyric that would explain exactly what she was feeling and would allow me to understand. In those moments, I was in complete awe, and it would always take my breath away. Nicole's vitality prevailed throughout all of that, and so did her deep, shining light, even as she struggled so deeply. I am grateful that Nicole trusted me in her final 4 years, and also in the final hours of her life. This next song, Peace Will Come, is a song that she released the last week before she passed. And it's also the very last song that we listened to together right before she transitioned to the other side. This song is a gift to all of us. It is a meditation in grieving and in healing. And I hope it brings some comfort to all of you to know that although Nicole struggled so deeply, she was incredibly resilient. And in the end, she was very peaceful. Thank you.
I'm just going to jump right in because she taught me to do that. So she collected kids and youth from the communities. So I was living in Carmax, and she helped us find a voice. And she taught us to laugh. I'm honored, first of all, that I'm listed as a friend. I saw her as a mentor and a teacher, and a safe place. So she had a way of bringing out people's creativity, helping people express themselves, and giving us our first real taste of trust. So we worked in the Bite office. I think at the time I had green hair, numerous piercings, a wallet on a chain, and this beautiful, kind soul trusted all of us to be there at all hours of the day and to take care of the place and to respect the role that she gave us and the trust that she had in us. And she was able to bring that out just naturally and to make it shine in all of us. So she was really one of the first to go out to the communities and collect youth and tell them that they had a voice, and that as rural youth, we had a voice for change. And as Indigenous youth and Indigenous women, we could be loud and strong and not be forgotten. And she leaves that mark with us. And as I see quite a few Bite friends who are here and friends who are online and watching, like David Prodan. I talked with him before coming, and Jessica Hall and her sisters, and I see Johnny back there, and all of us. She left quite just an amazing legacy for us, and we're all older, but she will forever remain this beautiful, kind soul. Thanks.
here's to what I've come to in the end. This world is a good gift from a good God. And that's hard to hang on to because life can be really painful. And the world is confusing and crazy at best. And you watch the news and you want to scream or weep. At best, it's complicated and busy, and a person could forget. A person could forget the goodness. Forget what's most important, and it seems to me that it's been very clear here that this woman, her life and her death is an occasion to remember and to go deep between the lines, as it were, and beneath the surface where all the good stuff lurks, waiting for our attention. And it seems to me to be saying that right here and right now, it's time to be enchanted again, because you could forget, a person could forget that one person can honestly, truly change the world. That hope is an authentic stance. That love is real. It's real. It's not a fool's dream or the posture of losers. Love is real, and there are good people in the world. It's one of them right there. So I pray that you'll find a good and an honorable response to her death. One that honors her in a respectful way, in a true way. It's tempting and easy to indulge in withdrawal, but I challenge you to not give in to that. That's not going to help you, and it's not going to honor Nicole. We can't indulge in cheap and cynical apathy. It's boring. Or failure of nerve in the face of this. Let her life call you to live and to love and serve and uplift. And to do that because you know how much we've lost. And that you'll live as though life is what it really is, a gift and a miracle, because it genuinely is. So I pray that we'll go from here with open hearts and open hands, and with so much love. May God bless you always. Amen.
Got my condom on. Everybody else got theirs out there? Okay, so we're going to close with love, serve, and uplift. And I love Nicole too. She was so amazing, awesome, mentorships, wine room things. Miss her already, as we all do. All right. Yeah, those are the love, serve, and uplift. Yeah, anybody wants to do actions, give her. Nicole loved it. And there'll be some clapping too.